How do you know if your entry price into a new launch is safe? So recently I was looking at Tengah Garden Residences, and the question I asked myself was simple. At what price does it still make sense to enter? Now over the years I found one method quite useful, which is I look at the price gap between what I'm buying and what already exists around it, because that gap often gives a clue on whether the entry is still reasonable. So what's already in Tengah area that we can use to compare? So if we look at Koppen Grand EC and we look at the 3-bedroom units, there are actually recent transactions that are around 1.5 to 1.58 million. So the next question becomes, if I'm buying Tengah Garden Residences, how much more am I paying on top of this? And more importantly, does that difference make sense? So let's take a similar comparison at Canberra area, and you will notice that Brownstone EC, that MOP during then, the 3 bedrooms transacted around 1.2 million. While the Water Gardens, which was a new launch then, was transacting around 1.35 million to 1.5 million. Now this gives us roughly a 15% to 25% price gap. And buyers who entered within this range for Water Gardens eventually saw around $300,000 in terms of gross profit. Now let's say we apply the same thinking to Tengah Garden Residences. And if we use this as a rough reference, and Koppen Grand EC, which was transacted about 1.5 to 1.58 million, and we add an additional of 15 to 25% price gap, now these will place Tengah Garden Residences roughly at about 1.78 million to 1.94 million for a 3-bedroom. Now of course, layouts and sizes will vary, but this gives us a general sense of where a more comfortable entry range might be. But the real question is this: if the developer's pricing falls within this range, would you still be comfortable entering? Now, because at the end of the day, it's not about whether the project is good, but it's about whether the price you enter at gives you room to move. Now, over the years, I've seen that the difference between a good and average outcome often comes down to this one thing, which is entry price. Now, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts about whether you would consider entering at this price range. So do share your thoughts with me. Once again, Gainer here, and I'll see you in the next video.